Yo, is this thing working? Let's find out. How's everybody doing? I hope y'all are having a lovely Wednesday. Let me just check that the audio's working properly. Yep, seems fine. Okay. It's been a pretty good week for me so far. Feeling productive, feeling good. Weekend was a bit off, but you know, ups and downs to the creative process. That's how it goes. I'm going to wait for people to roll in before getting into the real meat today. But I want to talk about the Daily October Challenge again. Actually, let me change the title. 52 minutes early. Oh, yeah. I wish there was a way on YouTube to because when you stream on Twitch, you just go live and then it's live. But on YouTube, you have to put up a starting soon screen and set a time. So then I'm always either late or I have to wait a while before it starts. And I wish I could just go live, you know? So the timing is never accurate. Harvesting some scraps, planning October challenge. I'm going to call it... I didn't have strong branding on the Daily October thing last year. Daily October is just not a great name. I'm calling it Build Days this year. Kind of a dual meaning. It's both building things physically, but also the main target of the challenge is to build momentum. That's the whole idea. Doing something every day towards a goal and carrying that momentum forward, you know? And I've gotten a lot of good stories from people who joined the challenge last year and kept it up for a while after. Maybe not the whole daily thing. Some people did. But it's just cool to be able to have a call to action that that can kind of last as a long-term momentum building thing. Yo, who's in the chat? Rodat Garage, what's up? Ann's, good to see you. Dark Man, what's going on? Hello, consider me rolled in. Hey, what is your favorite flavor of wood? I haven't tried enough. All I got is scraps, pallet wood, basic construction grade lumber. My favorite flavor? Gotta be 3/4 inch plywood. That's just the stuff you need. I've been doing prep work for this October for the past few days. I'm ready and excited. Hell yeah. Are you going to do daily uploads? Or daily shorts again? That would be sick. I'm looking forward to it. The basic idea for anybody that wasn't here last year is in October, sorry, I'm sure that sounded terrible on the microphone. We do a bit of a challenge to just make something every day, whether or not you want to post it as public accountability. You know, if you're a creator, daily shorts or Instagram posts or YouTube videos, or last year a lot of people they started a new channel as just a side channel to kind of post accountability updates for whatever they were working on. Or a lot of people just posted in the Discord. Links in the description for the Discord, by the way. There will be a new channel in there just dedicated to the Build Days challenge, just to post whatever the heck you're working on. Or even if you decide to do it in private, builds momentum regardless. That's the basic idea, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again after more people filter in. What's up from Taiwan? It's 4 a.m. Damn, it's 4 p.m. here. We're on opposite sides. I got a good pace going already. 8 days into daily drawing. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I'm trying to build some momentum myself over the next week so I don't get blindsided on October 1st. Because I got a buddy flying in on the 2nd as well. So we'll see how that goes, but maybe I'll be able to do some kind of collaboration content as well, because it's also my birthday on October 2nd. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Daily 1 short and 1 full length, 2 per day. That's sick. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, Moss? Might be the thing. I need to get back into my 3D printer design work. Had some good momentum going and then stopped for a good month and a half. Yeah, that's the thing with creative stuff. It's always on and off. So that's why I like to do this. I mean, I've been doing this myself for, is it 4 years or 5 years? I can't remember. But like even before I was doing YouTube as my main thing, I would just make daily videos in October just to practice, and that's how I learned. That's how I got a lot better at talking to cameras, and I learned color grading through that. It really got me back into cameras and eventually back into YouTube. So it's a great thing. And you know, I have stories from close friends who like started writing a poem every day in October, and he's continuing through to this day. I don't know if I specifically sparked that, but or if the October thing did, but it's just so good to have some accountability metric like that. I got a lot of ideas that I might want to implement into my office workshop. Might implement those during daily October. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I think we're calling it build days. And the reason for that is because I brainstormed a lot of stuff because daily October wasn't the strongest branding last year. I kind of told everybody to just, you know, it's your challenge too. Come up with your own name for it or whatever. And then I was trying to brainstorm something better for this year, like Buildtober or something, like playing off the Inktober drawing challenge kind of thing. But then I realized it's nothing special about October specifically. I'd like to be able to run these just whenever. There's potentially merit to doing this like twice a year or something, even just for myself. Like I know with my creative process, I will slowly largen in scope. Is largen a word? Enlarge in scope my projects and put too much pressure on myself. And it's good to have like a break point where, all right, we're just putting out whatever we're doing daily, to kind of bring back down my expectations for myself. And for me, that could be useful more than once a year. So I don't know, maybe we do it in October and in April or something crazy like that. So that's why I'm calling it build days, building momentum. Hello from the UK. I've adapted the Tom Sachs ideal of output before input and make sure I draw something or capture an idea in my field notes when I first wake up, helping inspiration. I love that. Daily journaling's great. Thoughts on the difference between many small projects for build days versus one large project with daily work? Either one, whatever's going to help you out the most. I know a lot of people, a lot of my personal friends are probably doing more along the lines of one large project that they're making progress on every day. Am I overexposed? This is the thing about going live at sunset, because my window changes lighting. What was I saying? Small projects versus one large project. For me, I'm probably going to do a mix. Like I've got 4 kind of larger things, I guess, that might be multiple uploads or something like that. So yeah, whatever you determine to be best for your workflow. At the end of the day, it's all about building momentum. Got a buddy that's working on a movie that I've talked about in some videos. And I think he's going to try to do some level of editing on that every day. I'm going to be helping him with some things on that movie during my videos this month. I've got probably 3 or 4 that I'll be doing on that, diving into the miniature making world a little bit. which if any of you found me through Miscast, I'm sure you'll love. I'm gonna make some little spaceship miniatures. What's up, Catherine? What's the biggest you'd go on beard length? I don't know. I literally took the thumbnail photo for this stream and I was like, oh my goodness, I look like a crazy person. I should cut it. And then I didn't. So here we are. I don't know. For some reason, I had an idea like close to a year ago where I was like, I'm just going to not cut my hair until I hit 50K subs, which is stupid because I don't care about numbers that much, but I also don't care about my hair that much. And so now here we are, and I look like a freaking lumberjack. No, you look like an artist. I'll take that. The hair hold knowledge, you must keep it. Not beating the Rhett McLaughlin allegations. That would be the goal, yeah. Any news on embroidered caps merch? That is one of the projects that I need to make progress on this month. Partially because I've been promising it for too long, and partially because I kind of need the money. I spent a lot of money getting a bunch of hat blanks that are up there, and I need to make some of that money back. So this is one of the big things, is likely start of the month. First thing is building the new workbench that's going back here. And then I'm imagining like that's going to be a surface level desk, like seated height at the same height as these workbenches. And then like 2 tiers of shelves above it, kind of similar to these things. And that will store like sewing machines, all that kind of stuff. And so that's going to be the workstation. And then we'll have a video on modifying the embroidery machine. The thing that's holding me up is the embroidery machine is meant to work on flat surfaces, just straight pieces of fabric, like if you're doing a hoodie or a shirt. And so I need to make some modifications to it to be able to do hats, which could be easy or could be very, very hard. I've kind of started to dive into it already, but we'll have a video about that. I mean, the ambitious goal is having the hats release in October, but we'll just have to see how momentum is going. We'll have the I eat scrap wood hat that everybody wants. And then, you know, once that's set up, then it's nothing to just be able to drop another set. I think I'm going to have between 40 and 50 on the first drop. That's just what I have. But if those sell out, then once it's all set up, I can just keep going. And it would be fairly negligible to do t-shirts or hoodies or something. But I'm more of a hat guy myself. Yo, Evan, came across your videos and really like them. Glad to see your live streaming. How do you maintain starting projects and not finishing them? What gets you over that line? I don't know. This is a common theme, and it's hard to answer. Starting projects and not finishing them. I mean, it all comes down to lowering your expectations, which is what damn near the whole channel is about, really. Just like get something, like how many times have I said on this channel, you know, I finish a video, I finish building something and I'm like, well, it kind of sucks, but it's a starting point. And I think just getting in that mindset is the key to getting something done. You know, what's the saying? Perfect is the enemy of done, or something like that. I don't remember the exact wording. But yeah, just aiming to have stuff good enough and improve it later. That's the key to finishing things, I think. I would so buy a hat. I'm curious how much you sell them for. It's probably going to be $35. No promises. A lot of people charge more than that these days. The thing is, I can't go too low on it because the blanks that I'm buying are not the cheapest blanks. And then every single one I'm going to be embroidering myself on the machine in the studio. And potentially there's some parts that have to get hand stitched to finish that. So it's going to be a whole process. So I can't really put them at much less than $35. So we'll see. But that's the first run. And if I make it more efficient in the future, maybe it gets cheaper. Or if blanks go up in price, it would go up. So I don't know. But around that mark, 35. Perfect is the enemy of good enough. That's the saying. Yes. I would love to get some little damage on the hat to give each piece special signature from you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I beat the hell out of my hats myself. A lot of them are super frayed or have paint specks on them from various projects, so I don't know. There may be some sort of individual touch to each of them, at least for the first run where there's only going to be like 40 of them. I might put a little number on the side, like number 2 out of 40, serialize them. And that might be hand stitched or might be painted or something like that. Might make a video on making a custom camera lens from old film cameras. I've learned that I can make adapters on the lathe and hand-carved bayonet mounts. That's sick. Having a lathe for lens stuff is huge. Because then you can make any adapter you want, really. Hi from Finland. Love all your videos. Waiting for new videos is the best time of my life. Thank you. Being organized sure helps getting into flow states. That's a big thing too, is just having the space for it. Nothing kills a flow state more than, being in the middle of something and I'm like, oh, I need this specific clamp. And I have no idea where that clamp is. And the whole thesis of this studio is kind of trying to make everything accessible, but I'm still not totally done with that. There's still plenty of times where I'm looking for a tool and I just don't have it. Are you going to ship the hats overseas? Possibly. I mean, it all depends on what tariffs look like. I haven't kept up to date with all that junk. Likely you're going to pay the shipping on your end, so it's up to you if different countries it's different. So, it's always insane going to certain places. So, it's up to you, if the hat's $35, but they're going to make you pay $45 in import fees to get it to your country, is that worth it? I don't know. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. But I will ship them overseas, I believe. Offer it as an option, at least. That's a good idea. Maybe you can spray paint a tiny bit on it, too. Yeah, maybe I'll put a pre-loved option. Oh, adapters out of wood on the lathe. That sounds sick. Just make sure to use some nice hardwood. I always get bit when I try to make some like structural adapter and I'm using too soft of a wood. Because most of the scrap that I have is construction grade, fairly soft stuff. But yeah, like the adapter that I made for this lens, that one, I used a fairly hard wood for it. It's held up nicely. You ever plan on doing Halloween or Christmas specials? Who knows? I don't know. What could a Christmas special look like? Scrap wood Christmas tree? I did a birthday special last year and it didn't do very well. So, I don't know. Could be fun though. If I have a good idea, I'll do it. If you had access to a resin printer with super high detail, what would you use it for? Potentially hoping to print some adapters for lenses. That would be a good use. I would maybe use it for some miniature stuff for upcoming projects, like really high detail stuff, because you don't exactly need high detail for most functional things, unless it's like threaded. For threaded stuff, a resin printer might be really handy. I've even looked into a little bit resin printing for injection molds. Could be viable. So that may be something I explore in the future. But yeah, miniatures with really high detail would be sick. What's your costume for Halloween? I don't know yet. I had an idea. I'll probably make it on a stream during October in that last week somewhere. Gosh, what was my idea? Halloween is always a struggle for me because I don't watch that much media. Like, I don't watch much TV shows and movies. And so, like, I don't have any ideas. What did I just watch? I'm not going to remember it. I'll come up with something, though. Last year I did... Was it last year? I did the Michelin Man last year. And that was the day my car broke down. So I was stranded on the side of the road when my timing belt broke, and I was dressed up as the Michelin Man. That was my Halloween last year. Hopefully we don't repeat that. I won't do any car-related costumes. Maybe that's bad juju. Scrap wood under the scrap metal tree. Hell yeah. You should build a folding bed into that back wall that folds into some shelves. That way you can have a better place to sleep and store more things. Yeah, I did that for a bit. I mean, I had the Murphy bed under the standing desk over there, but yeah, I abandoned it. I didn't need it. It wasn't worth the space for me. Memes mom watching here from the UK. What's up? I do know 3D resin printing works for low run injection molded parts. Formlabs had a quick white paper on it. Nice. Yeah, I imagine it would degrade after some time. But yeah, for small runs. What's up, Icarus? Good to see you. Absolutely, people make jewelry molds out of resin. Really? For like melting metal in? That's crazy. Keep in mind, resin can also be a silicone-like material or other hardnesses. It's also used for mouth gum replacements. Huh. That is cool. I might have to get one of those at some point. Scrapwood armor knight for Halloween. That sounds like a lot of work. That's the other thing with Halloween. It's like you put all this effort into a costume, and then what do you do with it? You can't repeat it. Scrapwood money. Thank you. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. That will go towards a couple 2x4s. I think PCBWay will machine metal parts for cheap. Yeah, that's what I did before for injection molding. I might do another sponsor with them for a similar thing. They're a huge pain in the ass to deal with resin, ventilation, curing, washing, and gloves, but it's worth it. Yeah, I imagine. Don't know what the fumes look like on that. That's one project I might tackle in October is making a little fume extractor. I have a spare PC fan. Where is it? I've got like this Noctua fan. And I might power that off some drill batteries and make a fume extractor setup to go right out the window. Just for when I'm soldering and working more toxic materials. Noctua is bliss, absolutely. Just a hollowed out stump for a mask. I like it. I like it. Could do power tool pumpkin carving. That was an idea I had last year for a funny video. Number one priority. Indeed. I think I haven't talked about my plan for what I'm doing for October build days. I still kind of have a week to decide, so my plans might change depending on how my momentum feels over the next week. But I think what I'm doing for this channel, I'm toying with the idea of streaming for an hour, maybe 90 minutes every morning, as kind of an accountability thing to start the day and kind of plan out what I'm doing each day. And that's going to be my daily thing. Instead of pressuring myself to put out a fully fledged full-length video. Last year what I did was I put out something every day, whether it was a full-length video, a stream, or a second channel video, which were kind of cop-outs, but regardless, it was still good for momentum. But I ended up averaging about 1/3 on each, so it was about 10 streams, 10 second channel videos, 10 main channel videos. And I'm really proud of that output. I think 10 videos in a month is a really good metric to try to hit. Any more than that, I think they would suffer in quality, and at least for the kind of videos I make, it would probably end up meaning splitting some projects into multiple parts where it would be better as one video. And at the end of the day, 10 videos is still a lot more than I usually post in a month. I mean, I've been doing 1 or 2 a month the past bit. So I think daily streams in the mornings and roughly a video every 3 days is my idea. But we'll see. Maybe it'll go extremely well and I'll have a video every 2 days or something. I like that, Kevin. Noctua. Bring back Breakfast with Bev. Maybe. I haven't done much with the new second channel yet. Maybe I'll do something like that, but I was thinking I might just cut up the daily streams each morning and put those on the second channel to kind of watch back as a podcast type thing. Just a little morning show, however long those end up being. But that's going to be my main accountability metric, is those daily streams. Hi, Evan. It's an honor for me to be here. This is my first live stream I've been able to watch because of the Italian time. Anyway, thanks for all your inspiring and beautiful videos. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I am curious to see if I do morning live streams, what the viewership numbers would look like. I guess it would be a lot more friendly for European audiences, and maybe morning people here in the US. If I were to go live at 7 a.m., I guess that would be 4 a.m. for people in California, right? So that's kind of rough. But whatever. That's just what makes sense for the flow, I think, is just starting each day off with a stream and then making the video from there. You can also use parts of the live stream in the final video if you use the correct equipment. Definitely. That would be possibly part of the plan, depending on how it shakes out, is kind of talking about initial plans and then maybe starting the work on the stream even, and using some of that footage, because I can record on the camera while it's streaming, so there's no reason I can't do that. Is that a camcorder on the second desk? These ones or this one? This is a little camcorder. Little Sony handy cam. This is something I'm going to do some mods on in the future. It needs a bigger battery because it dies so quick. And every time it dies, I have to reset all the settings. But it's pretty cool. It's got a 10x zoom, I think. And like decent autofocus as well, because it's a Sony. So that's a cool little thing. I'm gonna fix up at some point. The ones on the other desk are big ass TV cameras, which is gonna be the next video that should be posted here in late September. Just bought a load of broken film cameras, getting a chance, man. I'm gonna try to fix them up. Hell yeah. Love it. Did you go pick up those camcorders? I did. That was from the Discord. Huge shout out to Loveland Frogman for sending me that Facebook Marketplace listing. They are beasts, dude. These things are insane. Look at that. Action News. Yeah. Like news camera that you run on your shoulder, like this, with a giant zoom on it. So I'm going to reuse the lenses off of these for a video. And then there's this one, which is smaller, except it has a huge viewfinder on it, which is actually basically just a tiny CRT. So I might use this for another video at some point, is like trying to get analog inputs on this thing so that I can run it as like a little monitor. That's a fun one as well. So that's potentially 2 videos there, using the lenses, using the viewfinder, potentially even using the cameras themselves, but they're old 480p interlaced cameras, so I don't know what they'd actually be useful for, but they're cool. Oh, thank you for the 5 again. Bring back breakfast with Bev, please. Some egg money for you. Maybe the morning streams could be breakfast with Bev themed. That's a possibility. I mean, we're doing it as a morning show, I think is the idea. So maybe we cook some eggs on the morning broadcast each morning. I don't know. Some coffee for sure. A little mini live breakfast with Bevs. For anybody who wasn't in on that, Breakfast with Bev was the original October daily series going back 5 years or whatever. 4 years maybe. I'm behind on chat. You should make the live stream unavailable after the stream. That way there's no full leak of the project. Yeah, I could do that. Or, I mean, mostly it would be the starts of the projects, and the video would come out a day later anyway, so not the biggest deal. Make it members only. I could put it on the paywall site. I do have that, by the way, if anybody is not aware. If you want to directly support the channel, first link in the description, evanmonsma.com. You can become a member. There's occasional members-only content there, but not too much, because I like to put most of the effort into the public stuff. It's mainly just there to support if you want to. The startup chime is fire. Yeah. Yeah, the old Sony Bing noise. See if I can get it right in the mic. Hell yeah. The annoying thing with this camera is it has like a quick on feature, because it takes so long to turn on that when you close it like a flip phone, it goes into a sleep mode where it's still on, and then you can flip it out and it'll turn back on again. but it does that for 10 minutes and it drains the battery slowly. So like realistically, when it's in your pocket, if you budge the screen, it'll turn on and then go into sleep mode and drain the whole battery. So you have to manually power it off every time, which is pretty annoying. But maybe there's some modifications I can do to fix that. Or just add a guard so the screen can't get budged in my pocket. Hey there, the room looks awesome. Thank you. 7 is actually evening in Asia, so it's good for me. Nice. Yeah, maybe we'll get a whole new audience in here. But regular timing would be cool too, because then you can kind of count on it as a thing that's going to happen throughout the month at least. I believe that's my plan. I might change my idea in the next week depending on how momentum is, but that's the current idea for my end of the challenge. Having to think which table has which camera is gold. Yeah, I got a lot of crap out right now. Because I have all these things out to film the some shots for the next video. And then this desk is just whatever I'm using. DV tape my goat, indeed. Why don't you work as a professional videographer for customers? Seems to be your passion. I do occasionally. I did a gig last month with my roommate Michael, who you see on the channel sometimes. That's what he does for his main gig, and so sometimes I'll join him as a second shooter. But I don't do that as my main thing anymore. I just grab gigs on the side when I'm running out of money, or dangerously low on money. What's up, Loveland Frogman? These are the cameras you sent me on the Discord. Thank you very much for sending that. They are sick. This will be the next video, is adapting these lenses onto different cameras. Probably just onto the tiny camera, on the action cam, because I think they'll pair really well. And it's just funny to put a massive lens on a tiny camera. Oh wow, I'm really behind on chat now. Let me skip forward a little bit. Set up old cameras as CCTV for the studio. I did think about that. I might hook one up to a CRT for some cool shots occasionally. Recently learned that using the lenses facing the wrong direction turns them into a wide-angle lens. Really? You mean like when you flip it backwards and it turns into macro? That's pretty cool. I'd love to see you try that with the Shark camera or action camera rig. Would that work? Yeah, I think it would. I believe it only works on prime lenses. I don't think it works as well on zooms. But yeah, that is a cool thing you can do. I just got a filing cabinet from Goodwill. Not sure what I'll put in it yet. I love me a good filing cabinet. I use those as tool chests over here in the corner. I might modify one of them at some point, because the one big one I have is very deep and it kind of juts out into the studio more than the other stuff does. So I was thinking about just taking a saw to it and taking like 8 to 10 inches off the front or off the back, and then shorten all the drawers, just weld up a new back plate on them. And I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work. And then I can get a shallower filing cabinet. But they're also really good sources of just scrap metal. Like, sheet metal is kind of expensive. And you can get filing cabinets for very cheap or free a lot of times. And just chop them up and use it as sheet metal. Although you do have to strip paint off of it, I guess, if you want it bare. Longtime senior vids, just curious, what lens are you using to film this live? I've got a 10-18 f4 Sony. I think it's a pretty cheap lens. It's like $300. I bought mine broken on eBay, so I paid $60 for it and then fixed it, and it works pretty good. It looks like it took a drop at some point, and so it just broke the zoom mechanism, and I did a jank fix. It feels a little gravelly, but it works. It's a $60 zoom lens. That's my ultra wide that I always use. You do videos as your full-time work. Technically, I spend my full-time on it for the most part. Do I make a full-time income? No, not really, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I can cover rent off of it most months and then do other little side gigs to cover groceries and things. But I also just keep my expenses incredibly low. Like you see that in the videos. I rarely spend any money on the videos themselves aside from buying screws and occasional wood that I need or little adapters. So it's all run on a shoestring budget. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Hey, Evan, visiting family up in Lake Superior right now. Got to say your video about scavenging the old wood from the lake house really hit home for me. Thanks so much for making it. Thank you. Yeah, that one meant a lot to me and my friends. That was a good one to make. I kind of did it on a complete whim. I wasn't even sure that I was going to go up back to my hometown to take any of that wood, because it is like a 2.5 hour drive. But it was literally like I got back from a different trip and kind of just decided, oh, well, I'm just going to turn right around and get this stuff. So when you see the opening shots in there of me saying like, I'm going to go do this, that's like literally 5 minutes after deciding I was going to go. So it was completely spur of the moment, but I'm glad I did it, just to preserve some of those memories. Didn't you used to edit for a big YouTuber? Am I misremembering? I did edit for another YouTuber. Not that big, but I worked for a board game channel called Quackalope, who actually I might have passed. I need to check this. How many subs do they have? 43.2. My past employer has 43.2 thousand subs. I'm at 42.5. So I'll pass my former employer probably in October, which is crazy. But yeah, that was a good gig for a bit. I did that for like a year. Great lighting, by the way. Thanks. I tried something different today with putting this panel up here. This is the one that came off of the standing desk. So I was like, I'll put in more fill light for the stream today. And I think it looks better for it. I need some kind of permanent light here. This whole section of the desk will get adjusted at some point. Because I also need more space for the plants, man. The plants have been growing so much. And now it's like, so we got this little guy that you can't see very much that I raised from a sprout. He's kind of big now. And then we got this monstera that's kind of running into the shelf now. And then the corn plant that I've had for a long time that used to be a little sucker. And now he's running into the shelf too. And then there's this guy all the way at the end of the table that's like touching the ceiling now. So I kind of need to rework all that because this side of the desk has been completely taken over by by the plants. And when I redo that, I'll stick a light in there as well for the stream setup. Hell yeah, that action cam is a content machine. It really is. It's my most viewed video there. Put him on Shark Cam. Maybe I will. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Because when I tested the Shark camera in the Sure sponsored video, I used the 16 millimeter. And some of these lenses are as wide as like 6 millimeter. So that might actually make it kind of usable. That's a good idea. I will do that in the video, I think, at least for a bit. How do you get those lights to bloom so nicely like that? I'm glad you asked, because everybody shits on me in the comments for they're like, why don't you put lens caps on your lenses? You're getting dust all over them. It's free diffusion. I don't have to pay $100 for a Tiffin glimmer glass filter because my lenses just have sawdust on them. So that's the secret sauce, is you got to keep your lenses clean, but not too clean. What kind of mattress do you use to sleep on the ground? Thought about it too. Love the space efficiency behind it. I wouldn't recommend what I use. There's like nice Japanese style like folding mats that hold together pretty well. I just use like a mattress topper, which works. It's comfy, but it doesn't hold up as well. So I'm going to replace that pretty soon. But yeah, I'd look into, I don't know what they're called, but it's like a Japanese style thing. There's some name for it. I don't know. What are the boxes on top of the second shelf from the door? They look awesome and the form factor looks nice. These guys, these are ammo boxes. Like from Harbor Freight. But there's, I mean, you can get these at almost any hardware store or even military surplus stores sell the metal ones. But I get these for like, depending on where you're at, $4 to $6 per. And then I spray painted some of them, so that's why they're all different colors. But they work great. I found these at Lowe's recently. Lowe's had some of these yellow ones on clearance, and then, you know, they're just nice little tool kits. I got ratchet straps in that one. And just by pure chance, the shelf that I built here ended up being the right dimensions to kind of fit 7 rows of 3, or 7 columns of 3. So yeah, I also use those as car tool kits. So like my air compressor, if I need to fill up my tires in an emergency. I used to have a jump start battery that I stored in those. So they're nice little mobile tool kits. All my sockets are in one of those. Oh, thank you for the 20. I mean, man, all we want is you to eat eggs in the morning and tell us a story every then and now. We love that. I fucking loved Bev, man. Bring him back. Okay. Well, if this is what the fans want, boy, we will do a we'll do a little breakfast with Bev in the morning each day. We'll talk plans, but also just shoot the shit. Tenement Gentleman with the $10. Thanks for your videos. Thank you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And Colt Kerwin is in the chat. I was behind, and so I didn't see this. I'm too obsessed with reading all the chat messages, but I gotta let that go at some point. What's up, Colt? Good to see you here. Simple ammo boxes, had no clue. Yeah, they're super nice. If you want something more premium, you can get metal ones from military surplus for maybe like 15, 20 bucks. So those little ones are 30 caliber ammo boxes. These are 50 cal, real heavy duty metal stuff. They're a little harder to open because these are used, but pretty nice. This is the one I store all the P.O. box letters in. Oh, that's something I should mention too. in October, we'll be doing the daily streams here. And there'll be a scheduled day each week where I'm going to do a big P.O. box opening. Because that was kind of a theme in last year's thing too, but it wasn't as well organized. So I think something like every Saturday morning, I'll open whatever I got in the P.O. box that week. And that is linked in the description on this stream and in all the videos if you do want to send something. Yo, John, what's up? Good to see you here. This is what the fans want. I'm glad. I will do that. Is that a Sony camcorder on the desk? Yeah, I was showing it earlier. We'll do another jingle. Beautiful noises from the Sony. Hey, Evan, just noticed your hair is growing. Are we getting man bun, Evan, again? Possibly. Might get to that point. Keep inspiring people. Need that now more than ever. I need that as well. This whole thing is just as important for me as it is for anybody else. I could use some momentum building at this moment as well. Harbor Freight has the metal ones? Oh, they do, don't they? Yeah. What you got to do at Harbor Freight is wait until they have one of those deals where it's like 15% off any item under $20, and then you just get like 30 of them in one go. That's how I got all those ones. I have like 25, 30 of them, because they were like $6, but I went on one of those days that they had the 15% off any item under $10, and then I stacked that with my employee discount when I worked there, and so I ended up getting all of them for like $3 a piece, which was pretty sick. Tried sending a super chat, but I'm in the Republic of Ireland and it won't let me. That's okay. I appreciate the sentiment anyway. Ever regret selling any lenses? No. What lenses have I even sold? I sold my 18-105 that I built a lot of the channel on, but I didn't really need that one because it kind of got replaced by the super zoom. Any of my really sentimental lenses I go out of my way to keep, because a lot of the most sentimental lenses I have are fairly cheap anyway, because they're from earlier in my journey. I don't think I have any huge regrets from selling gear. I have regrets of selling some of my Magic the Gathering collection when I needed money a couple years ago. But lenses, not really. Especially because a lot of my most well-loved stuff is kind of beat up anyway, so I can't sell it even if I wanted to. I've just converted an old 70s TV hutch into a concealable desk workspace. It's been great. That's awesome. Furniture from that era. Very nice to work with. Grew up on base, so we always had those. That's sick. How many people are still subscribed to your 1.5 channel? What do you mean? Bevman, the old second channel? 1,700. So the new second channel is still smaller than the new one, but I've only posted one video on the new one, so whatever. Thanks for the inspiration. I finished my workstation while watching your last video. Nice. Love it. I'm going to move to the coast next month. Perfect timing to combine it with the October challenge. Shouldn't be too hard to find a project every day. That's exciting. Moving is always a lot of fun. I mean, stress, but also fun in just being able to set everything up anew again. Gotta sample that jingle. Yeah, I should use this in a track. How could I... That could be like a faint noise in the back of some track. I might make some new music this month too. I know I'm spitting a lot of ideas here and I'm only actually going to be able to do a couple of them, but some new music would be nice. People have been asking for a video about music production. That might be something I do, John, if you're still here. Whenever I visit you, we could make some tracks together. Or when you visit me at some point. The real hack is to work at Harbor Freight long enough to buy everything at employee discount and then quit. Yeah. I may have done that twice. And I may be about to do that again. If the next couple months don't go that well for me, I'm gonna go work at Harbor Freight over the winter again. Just buy a crap ton of tools. 'Cause you know what? It's easy and it pays the bills. And I get tools for cheap. I don't think I'll have to though, hopefully. I just skimmed the vids on the channel, but aside from your tiny lenses, do you have anything or plan on making a vid about vintage lenses like Helios or Jupiter lens series for Cine? Nah, I never got into those as much. I just don't have any. I'm pretty satisfied with what I have because, like, practically for all my shooting, I use zoom lenses. And so vintage primes like that don't interest me as much. Maybe one day if I get into more like proper filmmaking. But the reason C mounts are interesting to me is just because they're so small. Like you can use them on weird camera setups and stuff. Like, you know, that's just a minuscule little 16 millimeter. That's cool. But if I'm using a larger lens, I'd rather have a zoom. So the only exception to that maybe is film photography. If I do more content on film photography, then some lenses like that would be cool. But I don't know if my audience is that into film photo. I did one video about it and it didn't do that well. And it's also just an expensive hobby. I was wondering what was going on with you. Our Army Naval stores sell them for about $6. Damn, $6 for those cases is a pretty nice deal. I need to find a spot that has them for that price. Watching the MTG prices stings, it does. I luckily held on to a lot of my collection. So that's always my, in case of emergency, can sell a couple fetch lands or something. As long as I get the timing right. But I haven't had to. If $5,000 landed in your lap and you couldn't put it towards needs, rent, food, etc., what would you do with it? I think I would buy an industrial embroidery machine. Real big type thing that they use in professional embroidery shops. The one that I'm modding to work for the hats is like a $300 home machine meant for just doing little patches and stuff. And so it's kind of outside of its proper use case to do hats with it. So if I had $5,000 to reinvest in, I guess, the business of what I'm doing, it would be a nice big embroidery machine. Or alternatively, putting it in savings towards buying land. That's like within 5 years on this channel, you're going to see me pouring a slab foundation on some cheap plot of land somewhere and laying cinder blocks to build a little studio garage or something. I swear that'll happen within 5 years. As long as I can find a real cheap plot of land, I think I can do it. So that would be my two things that I would do. Either or. But right now, probably embroidery, because that's just reinvesting in the business. New backdrop looking so clean. I was saying to my GF as we watched the vid that it was a mistake to move the shelves, but I was proved wrong. Yeah, I wasn't too certain about it myself. It's weird having a white wall in here again, but that will be covered soon. Can you give me a link? Oh, yeah. I should link that stuff. Well, you can probably just search it. The old channel is called Bevman, Bevman. That channel's archived because there was copyright strikes on it. And the new channel is Evan Monsma 2, which I will continue to use for random side project stuff, or mainly extra technical details that didn't make it into the main video. I would love some new tunes. Me too. I've been repeating them lately, which isn't a big deal because they're all slow ambient tracks, so I don't think, or I hope they don't get annoying. But I would like some more. And I haven't made new music in a bit, so we'll get around to that. Slow it down and pitch it down, and it's a sick ambient synth pad. That's a good idea. Throw some reverb on it. I like it. You can make music and license it out for a small fee. Any music that I do have right now is available for download on my site, evanmonsma.com. If you're a paying member, you can download it. Where can I find your music? I'm new and didn't know you produced. Yep, it's there on the site. Some of the early stuff is up on my old second channel, Bevman, Bevman. I suppose I should repost that to the new channel. I'll do that when I make new music and then post it all as like an EP. Because a lot of the old stuff is kind of sloppy. Yes, we should do a music making vid when you visit next. Yes. Especially if I road trip there at some point, then I could bring all my gear. I don't know if I could bring it on a plane, because a lot of my music gear looks like bombs. But I guess I already brought a microphone that kind of looked like a bomb, so I don't know. Is it worth the risk? Bringing modified synths that look extremely sus through TSA. Where was I? I lost the chat. Love the video of you fixing the super zoom lens. Looked like a tough task, but you were able to get through it. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work. Or I thought it was going to be easier, I guess I should say. And then when I saw how bad it was and what was actually broken, I didn't think it would work, but now it does. It's just a little stiffer than it was before. But I don't mind that because it means it doesn't droop when I'm facing the camera down. And it hasn't broken again yet, so I guess my epoxy thing has held up inside there. I'm watching you on my CRT using Chromecast. Ain't that neat? That's awesome. What's that big Sony camera on the left of the screen? I was showing these earlier. This is an old TV broadcast camera. This will be used in the next video. I'm going to take these lenses off and put them on the tiny camera Insta360 rig. But it's an old ABC Action News camera, which is sick. But it's a big sucker. I was super into film for all of 3 months until I ran out of film and money after developing. Can't fault that logic. Yeah, it's just expensive. I love to do it sometimes for memories and like my grandparents just sold their house right after the video about the lake cabin, and I took the film camera up there to visit them before they moved out. So yeah, capturing little memories like that on film is special. I like that, but I don't shoot super often. How's the board game going? Long-term project. Haven't been working on it a ton. It's something I tend to work on in the background during winter, just because it's more of an inside task. So when I can't do as much woodworking and car stuff and big builds that I need to be outside for, that's something I work on, especially over the holidays too. Just traveling for holidays, I can never really relax on vacations when I'm traveling, so I always have to bring some work with me, and working on the board game is something that I can do with just my laptop, so it's something that just gets chipped away at over time. But we're kind of moving into that realm in October because I'm making spaceship miniatures for a film that my buddy's working on that I've talked about before. And that's kind of getting into the realm of the board game stuff that I'm doing. That's the reason I built the injection molder, is to do miniatures. So we're getting there, slowly building to that stuff. It's just that project requires a lot more money when I really get into it. So we'll get there. I think 2026 will be a big year for that project. I heard Alaska is cheap for buying land. Yeah. Unironically, I've thought about it. It's just so far from friends and family and everything. Might go to Michigan. I don't know. That might be my place to buy land. Maybe southern Michigan, so I'm close to Chicago. All the music in your vids is your own stuff. That's dope. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, I produced all the music that gets used, at least in the past year and a half. I think since I've been in this studio, since I've been in this house, I don't think I've used anyone else's music. Maybe in the move-in video. There's an artist called Chypho, Chypho, and I got permission from him to use some of his music. So I used to use that a lot in the early days of the channel, and then I started producing my own just ambient stuff, and that's pretty much all of what I use now. I thought at first you deleted all the OG videos or put them on private. Glad the Bevman channel still exists. Yeah, no, it still exists. I just don't want to risk posting on it and growing that channel more, because I'd like to get a second channel that's monetized, and doing that with the old Bevman channel is risky because I've had that one since 2014 and used to post a bunch of crap on it that got copyright striked, so it's just more risky to move forward with that one. So that's why I started the new one. But it'll remain up as an archive. Do a video about the synths so that way you could show off the TSA stuff. They're in fact not bombs. It's a good idea. I like it. Yeah, we'll do some synth modding videos at some point. That's probably not happening in October, maybe. I'm always too ambitious about these things, but that's something we'll tackle in the next couple months for sure. There's a whole handful of synth modding videos. What's up, Jurianne? Yo, Bev, long time no see. How you doing? Daily October is almost here. It is. We are preparing. We're building momentum. You should adapt the EVF from the TV camera to the Shark camera. I don't think there's a webcam mode on the Shark cam. I don't think there's a way to get video out. But if there is, that would be sick. Just the biggest viewfinder in the world on the tiniest little toy camera. When's your next video? Shortly, before the end of September. We'll have one more, I believe, and that's on these TV cameras, big old lenses. And then we'll hop into October with the goal of a video every 3 days-ish. 10 videos in the month is my target. And streams every morning is the idea. For those of you just hopping in, we're doing the October daily challenge again this year. If you weren't here last year, it's basically just a community involvement thing to just build some momentum on whatever projects you're working on. Just a challenge to do something every day, whether it's progressing on small steps to a bigger project or doing a small project every day, whatever medium you're choosing to do it, whether you post it or not. That will kind of live in the Discord as well. There'll be a channel in my Discord just for posting updates on whatever you're working on. And I'm going to be streaming every morning, working on as many videos as I can. And we're calling that the Build Days Challenge. Building stuff, but also building momentum. That's the idea. If you ever go to Australia, you should go to a Bunnings and eat some snags. What are those? I've never heard of that. But I have heard of Bunnings. Maybe one day. That'd be sick. Collab with Miscast out in Australia. How do your lights look like that on camera? Just the bloominess of them? I was talking about that a little bit earlier. It's mostly just because my lenses are dirty. There's a little bit of dust on the lens, kind of diffuses it. But you can also achieve the same look with diffusion filters. But dust is free, and diffusion filters are expensive. Do you have any tips for bigger video projects? What's your workflow? In what sense? Like short films or YouTube videos? I try not to dive too deep into giant videos anymore. But when you do, I guess my process is usually focusing on telling the story first. So a lot of times I'll even lay out most of the audio for the video first and then place footage over it. If it's a build video where I don't know what's going to happen, obviously I have to film first. But in the edit, I'll kind of start to space out footage and edit kind of audio first, narrating what's happening, and then fill in spots between the footage where I don't have any footage. I'll go back and film. But focusing on the audio and storytelling before the visuals, and then pairing the visuals to that is my process for tackling big stuff. Mod the broadcast cams to accept lead acid batteries to make them even more heavy and bulky. Yeah, just make it as giant as possible. I like it. Great ideas to makers. Greetings from Spain. Thanks for being here. Did you follow Trent's daily hobby vlogs? They're so darn nicely produced. Almost as dope as his main vids. He's crazy. He is freaking crazy for that. I've been watching them. I don't know how he's keeping up, but I'm proud of him. It's awesome. I mean, we've been for as long as we've been talking, we both are like, dude, you should do daily videos. Dude, you should do daily videos. And he's actually doing it, which is incredible. Can you hear the dog barking in the background? How annoying is that? I have a new compressor on my mic, so I don't exactly know how everything sounds. I'm not used to it as much as the old setup. Thanks for the $5, Edgar. Appreciate you. But yeah, what Trent's doing is a huge inspiration right now. I would love to get to a point where I can care less and put out more. I'm still too perfectionist about things, I think. Little idea, can you create an all-wood camera cage and cinema rig? Would be cool to use a CNC. If I got my hands on a CNC or a laser cutter maybe, that'd be sick. I've got concepts like that written out. They could be done with hand tools. I even had a crazy idea to build a fully manual film camera out of basically entirely wood, like cut little sprockets with a laser cutter or something. That's a far in the future idea because that requires a lot of tools that I don't have. But I think it would, in theory, be possible. But yeah, some more wood stuff. I mean, I'm going to use wood even on rigging up these broadcast lenses because I need a lens support for them because they're so big. So there's going to be a little bit of wood cage type action in the next video. I'm doing a hardware tinkering project about a controller currently. Seems like I have a similar way of doing things. Love it. Audio is definitely important. Got really inspired by GX Ace to make more cinematic stuff. Have you seen Casey's videos? Casey Neistat? Or is GX Ace's name Casey? I've seen both of them. If that's what you're asking. GX Ace is insane. He puts a ridiculous amount of effort into those videos. Can you make a pinhole camera? Absolutely. That's part of the concept of the all wood camera is, I could put glass in it for a lens, but it could also be done 100% out of wood by using a pinhole. Actually, the first camera I ever had, I used a pinhole lens on. When I bought the EOS M, I bought it without a lens, and so I just drilled a hole in the lens cap, and that's how I that's how I used it at the start. Thank you for the 5 again, Sig. Is it Sig? Is that how you pronounce that? Dude, just eat the eggs in the morning. We love that, and tell us a story. I love it. Thank you for the support. I will plan on that. Oh. Why did my internet just... Did the stream die? No, I think we're good. Okay. My web browser just froze up for a second. I don't know why. How long have I been going? An hour 18. We'll go for a little longer. A lot of large format cameras were basically wood boxes with a lens attached. True. Yeah, we're good. That damn sawdust router. I did replace that router, actually. It finally crapped out on me, which is why I've been a little MIA, at least. Well, I posted 2 videos last week, but before that, I was gone for a little bit because my internet just decided to completely stop working, and so I had to get a whole new setup and a new plan. Because I think Verizon figured out my scheme. I was kind of playing Verizon a little bit to get some nice internet, and I think they found out and throttled me. Because I was getting, I used to get ridiculous fast speeds here, but like 2 weeks ago I was getting, what was it? It was like 5 megabits per second down and 1 megabit per second up, like literally unusable. It would take forever to even load a text-based web page, which is why I couldn't stream. But now we're back. Not quite as fast as it was at its prime, but I have usable internet again. Do you use Magic Lantern on the EOS M? Seems like development is picking up again, so that's interesting. I do. I used it a little bit in the Sure lens video. It was fun. That was the first time I've used it since some of the major updates. But yeah, it's a great camera to screw around with. What part of the U.S. are you working from? I'm a Midwest boy, Rust Belt boy. I'm in Indiana currently. Used to run out of Ohio. But yeah, Indianapolis based currently. Evan, you should get a little bit into vibe coding web apps. It's insanely easy / profitable. Yeah, I don't know if I have any crazy ideas on that. I don't know. Vibe coding is interesting. I've never tried it. Don't know if I have any strong feelings on it. Maybe for, I don't know. I don't know what I would actually use it for. I noticed you've been using a Sony FX30. What are your thoughts on it compared to the FX3? I prefer it. For the price, I would rather have 2 FX30s than an FX3 any day. And I think 2 FX30s is cheaper than 1 FX3. I prefer APS-C personally because I do a lot of weird lens adapting with older formats that have a smaller image circle, so I just like it better. And I also find it just looks a little closer to real life. To me, full frame is good for photography because it kind of projects a larger than life perspective. But APS-C, at least to me, is the closest visual to like the human eye. And it's just cheaper and smaller, so I like it. FX30 is basically my dream camera. If they'd add like, the only things I would want on top of it are like, if they made it a little bit smaller, if they added open gate, just because I'd like to screw around with that. That's kind of it. It's got all the buttons you need. Really nice sensor, great low light. It's kind of everything I want. So yeah, highly recommend the FX30 for professional or semi-professional stuff. Did you have to send back the Sure lenses? No, that was the payment for that sponsor. So I didn't get paid, but I got paid in lenses, so I still have those. Which I might do more kind of sponsored videos like that, just like little product things for stuff that I'm actually interested in, because like I said it in the video, but I authentically wanted the Nightwalkers for like 2 years since they were announced. That was my dream cinema lens, budget cinema lens set. But I won't take anything for product reviews that I don't actually like. Let's see. But yeah, there might be more sponsors on the video coming up. Just trying to make this a little more sustainable of a gig, you know? I use vibe coding more in the sense of an expert guiding me through something, fix some old mechanical cameras that had no schematic by just conversing with it. That's wild. I didn't know you could do that kind of thing. Huh. Dude, hell yeah, looking forward to you using them. Yeah, I'm psyched about it. I think my favorite one is the 24. 24 is nice. 75 is fun too. Where did I put the 24? I think it's on the tiny camera right now. The little Insta360. Yeah. This guy. This will be the subject of the next vid, is this camera. Trying to make it work a little better. Somebody had a really good idea in the comments of the video about these lenses. They were saying for monitoring on the action camera, because that's always been my issue with this thing, is the monitor is so small it's hard to pull focus. But somebody pointed out if I used a parfocal zoom lens where the focus stays the same no matter how far you zoom in, then I could zoom all the way in, pull focus, zoom back out, and kind of use that as a de facto zoom or focus magnification, which is an awesome idea. So that's kind of the concept of the next video. Okay. Was there anything else I wanted to cover in this stream about build days, October build days? Nah, CRT monitor on that puppy. I wish. If it had HDMI out, I would. That'd be awesome. No complaints if you take sponsors personally. I'd love to see what you come up with when you're not worried about rent. True. Maybe we can get to that buying cheap land thing. And then I just build a freaking house. That's the dream one day. But yeah, if I do take more sponsors, it would allow me to post more frequently. So I don't know. You might see a Squarespace ad. Which, whatever. 30-second ad spot. It's something I've avoided before, but do what you gotta do. I never noticed you were so tall until your video about getting scrap wood and doors from that house. How tall are you? I'm a big man. I'm 6'8", but also that house is tiny. So it's kind of both things at once that makes me look ridiculous. That house was like, old houses are already really short, and it was also literally sinking into the dirt because it was on the lake. But yeah, I'm also just a freakishly tall man. That's my Dutch genetics, I guess. Small house versus big man, indeed. See, this is why I want to build a house, and this is why I'm heavily modifying my car, is because normal things aren't built for people like me. I want a house with friggin' 12-foot ceilings in it, What about DIY studio equipment? What do you mean? Like lights and stuff? I did sort of a DIY tripod setup. What was I talking about? I want to make sure I covered whatever I wanted to talk about for build days. So, to recap, my plan for my end is daily streams in the morning, just updating and planning. Hoping to post roughly 10 videos in the month. On the daily streams on Saturdays, we'll open the P.O. box. So feel free to start sending stuff over to the P.O. box, or do it later in the month if you want to send me anything that you're working on during the challenge. Discord, linked in the description if you'd like to share whatever you're working on. There will be a channel for that I'll be putting up in the next couple days. Or maybe tonight even, I don't know. But yeah, that's the challenge basically, is just make something every day, post it or don't, put it up on YouTube, put it up on Instagram, share it in the channel in the Discord, and I will look through those as well. So probably, I think on the Saturday streams, I'll open the P.O. box and also go through and look at everybody's creations from the week. I imagine it'll be bigger this year, so I don't know if I'll be able to look at every single person's thing every week. But I'll curate it and pick through stuff and try to cover as many people as I can. That's the idea. So, P.O. Box, Discord, my website to support me. Those are all the plugs. Real big man troubles. Everything is toy sized. Indeed. It's a struggle that I like small cars, but I'm a big man. So I have to make a mini truck that's weirdly proportioned so that I can fit. Dude, I found your channel about a year ago and I've been hooked ever since. This is the first stream I've been able to catch. Thanks. I'm glad you made it. I'll be doing more. Did you make your site? It looks awesome. Yes, I did. I didn't code it myself. That was through a platform called Fourth Wall. That's an alternative to Patreon, basically. People like TMG Studios use it. I think MKBHD. It's a pretty nice platform. I'm saying that now because I'm not sponsored by Squarespace yet. It's not built through Squarespace, but Squarespace is good if I do a sponsored spot. But I'm not under any contract yet. Gonna end up with something looking like those new USPS trucks. Yeah, just some crazy proportion long nose truck. Never heard of it. Gonna look into it now that you mention it. Yeah, it's a pretty nice setup. The site builder is a little restrictive on certain things, but you can inject CSS code into it if you're smarter than me. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm sure Bamboo Lab would sponsor you. Yeah, I should reach out to him at some point. Try to get me a nice printer. The Ender 3 has been causing me trouble recently. It's fine though, it gets the job done. Alright, we're at 90 minutes. That's a pretty good stream for me. I think that's it for today. Just wanted to do a short update. Oh, I did put harvesting some scraps in the title and I didn't do that. I was gonna disassemble this stuff. Yeah, whatever. You know what that looks like. I was just gonna do that as a crutch in case I ran out of things to talk about, but I didn't run out of things to talk about. Do you post on TikTok at all? Nah, not at the moment. Once I get my crap together, maybe I'll make Instagram shorts, YouTube shorts out of things, just recut up videos or hire somebody to do that at some point, but I just don't have the bandwidth to do that right now. But one day. Yeah, that's all. Peace, everybody. Join the Discord. Prepare yourselves for build days. That's all.